Welcome back. All right, so I want to do something fun. The hockey world, of course, there's been a lot of really heavy material to discuss over the last while. I want to say going back to the summer. So I want to have some fun with something. So the Vancouver Canucks are in the 52nd season of their existence. Seattle's in their first, and yet both teams are 3-4-1. Now, both teams also equal when it comes to the number of cups in their history. Now, Seattle fans will say, hey, we've got a Metropolitans banner up. I will answer with the Vancouver Millionaires won a Stanley Cup. Vancouver hasn't put a banner up, but they at least have to be considering it now because at the rate that the Canucks are going, I really still don't believe I'll see a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. But if it happens in yours, congratulations. But yeah, so Seattle versus Vancouver, it's interesting because we know this is going to end up eventually being a rivalry. I don't know that it's going to be Seattle's most heated rivalry, though, right out of the gate. I don't think so. I didn't get that impression from the first game between them. I still say give Vegas some time. Give Vegas some time. They have a way of building up these dislikes with other fan bases, whether it's team fans. It just it happens, right? So for Vancouver and Seattle, I want to compare them and I want to score this off to who's doing better. And again, this isn't to be taken seriously. It is just for fun. So if we compare their top goal scorers, for Vancouver, you've got Horvat, who has 4. On the Seattle side, you have Brandon Tanev, who should look quite surprised because he leads them in goals with 6 in 8 games. So they may be 3-4-1, but Tanev's been great. So on that score, Seattle gets the point. See, pretty simple. Pretty simple. Top point getter. On the Vancouver side, Connor Garland. He has 8 points in 8 games. He scored in the first 6. Travis Green felt he was making the rest of the players look bad, so he had his ice time cut. McCann is the leader for Seattle. He, of course, used to play in Vancouver. He has 7 points in 8 games. McCann's off to a great start, playing very, very well. And again, this is a matter of guys play, they get an opportunity to get a lot more minutes than they would have with their other club, and they show, you know what, we're pretty good. This is why when I talk about expansion, I say, the NHL probably would be fine expanding beyond 32 if they decided to, because there are plenty of guys who are in support roles in the NHL who I think in a top 6 role could be pretty darn good. Almost every team has a player that I think would qualify in that category. Assist leader. So we'll give the Canucks the point here for the points because Garland has 8, McCann has 7, but McCann's been impressive. On the assists side of things, because I thought, sure, why not? You have JT Miller has 7, and you have Donskoy with 5. So based on that, the Canucks get the point. See that? Canucks are winning. They're winning so far. Starting goaltender, this is where it gets kind of tough. So you have Demko, 3-2-1, 921 save percentage, right? On the Seattle side, you have Grubauer, who is 3-3, 897 save percentage. So based on those numbers, oh right, yeah, that one goes to the Canucks. So the Canucks are up 3-1 based on that. Or are they? Because, see, Grubauer, to me, has played better since that poor start. He was up for the Vezina last year. He also beat Minnesota last night. So I'm gonna go ahead because it's my system. Much like Simon Miller on What Culture Wrestling, he has his own, the finger of power. He decides how it works. Sometimes for the same segment, he'll give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And so I'm giving both teams the point on the starting goaltender since I think Demko's off to a good start. Grubauer's bounced back from a poor start, and Grubauer, pretty darn solid goaltender when he's on, and it looks like he's starting to heat up. Cap space. According to Cap Friendly, the answer for the Canucks is laugh out loud. There isn't any. There's no cap space. And I'm sure there's an argument to be made of, well, there's cap space here, and there's cap space. There's some under the couch. The reality is that on the Seattle side, according to Cap Friendly, they have $7.4 million in cap space. So that's a point to Seattle. I don't think there's a way to argue that it's not. It's a point to Seattle because they can go out and get somebody at the deadline. They could technically go out and get a couple players at the deadline if they play this right, if they feel like they're in a position to maybe challenge for a playoff spot. Goals for, goals against. On the Vancouver side, they have 2.5 goals per game. They've allowed 2.75. On the Seattle side, they've scored 2.75, but they've allowed 3.13. By goal differential, if we're going to go that way, both teams have allowed more than they've scored. So neither team really has bragging rights here. Seattle scored more goals. They've also allowed more goals. But I'm going to say barely. The Canucks get that right there. So that gives them a 4th point to 3 for Seattle. So it's close, right? All right, power play and penalty kill. On the Vancouver side, you have a power play at 19.4%. You have a penalty kill at 78.3%. Now, I've said before, anything 100 and above is good, right? 110 is considered elite. So for the Canucks, they're just below 100. So that's an issue. They're going to have to, get all that straightened out. I'm sure there's time, right? We're early in the season. We're only 10% of the way through the season. But interestingly enough, Seattle has 12% as their power play, but their penalty kill is an impressive 88.9%, meaning that from a special teams perspective, they're a little bit above 100. I give Seattle the edge. Their penalty kill, to me, gives them a little bit of an edge over Vancouver, who do have the better power play, though it was shaky at times last night. There was one really, really good power play, and then there was some iffy power plays. And so Seattle, who are still, I would imagine there's still guys on the team who don't know each other very well, like they're still learning how to play together. These numbers are pretty good for a brand new team. Power play has been the issue for the Vegas Golden Knights right back to their first year. I would not be surprised if Seattle's power play stays near the bottom of the league throughout the season. So next 5 games, and this is where it gets interesting. So the Canucks' next 5 games are all at home, but they're 0-2 at home, so I don't know if that's necessarily an advantage. So the next 5, so all home games. I'll write that down. All home games. They're against the Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, Nashville Predators, Dallas, and Anaheim. So this is a winnable homestand, but Edmonton Oilers are absolutely playing better than the Canucks right now. The Rangers are eking out wins here and there. It's kind of looked a little bit shaky, but you can't take the Rangers lightly. Nashville's getting better. Nashville started to improve. They're 3-4 as well. Dallas 3-1. Dallas, it should be interesting when Vancouver's against Dallas because both teams really struggle to score goals. So yeah, it could be a slog, that one. And then you have Anaheim, and Anaheim has really fallen off. But as they've proven early in the season, if you take them lightly, they can hurt you. So for Vancouver, there may be some gimmies on there, but again, this year, even early in the season, they proved against Buffalo and against Detroit. You can't really just say that's 2 points. You got to wait and see. So for Seattle, they're at home versus the Rangers first. Then they're at Edmonton. So I guess that's advantage Vancouver in that their game against Edmonton is in Vancouver, whereas Seattle's is in Edmonton, but we'll see. Then they're at home against Buffalo. So they have a game against Buffalo. Then they go out on the road again. They go to Arizona. Well, Arizona might be, and I've said this in a recent video, they might be the worst team I've seen. They tore everything down to the point where I even forgot Dvorak was gone. Just everybody's gone, basically, except Chychrun. It's like Chychrun and Keller are left there. A few other guys there as well, and it's like, all right, well, do your best to hold this together until we get all the draft picks. And then after going to Arizona, they go to Vegas. And, of course, for Vegas has all those injury issues that they're dealing with. And who knows? Seattle, who came back against Vegas early in the season, remembering we are still early in the season, Seattle could win that. So coming out of these next 5 games, would it be a surprise if Seattle had a better record? Not necessarily, although Vancouver has to turn things around at home. It's a 7-game homestand. And yeah, Edmonton, Rangers, Nashville, Dallas, Anaheim. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But there you go. The first ever edition of Year 52 versus Year 1. And I guess I'll say a draw. I guess I'll say 4-4 right now, because you could make the argument that either schedule is more difficult, in that Seattle is going out on the road for 3 of the next 5, but Vancouver may have tougher opponents in the next 5. But we'll see. This is close. And again, this is a situation that the Canucks are going to have to look at, because Seattle's only a couple hours drive from Vancouver, right? And this team already being better than Vancouver, regardless of how that happens, could end up looking bad for the Canucks, who are counting on making the playoffs this year. And we'll see how it goes. But again, I've watched the team for over 40 years. Kind of used to the way things end up going, but I still enjoy the journey. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.